Hello to all our dear viewers. Today, I've prepared 10 verses from the Quran for you, and I've invited an Islamic critic.
Hi, I'm Dr. Brian, and today I'd like to invite Muslims to a debate.
And an Islamic interpreter.
Hi, I'm Dr. Motafavi, and today I plan to convert every non-Muslim to Islam using the miraculous verses of the Quran.
And I want you, dear viewers, to listen to the words of this critic and interpreter about these 10 verses, just like I am. And let's read these 10 verses together to the end to see what they're really saying. At the end of the video, let's decide together what the Quran of the Muslims actually is and what kind of religion Islam is. We can see and choose the religion of Islam together through these 10 verses of the Quran. Don't miss these Quranic verses, because they'll either make you a Muslim or take you out of Islam. There's no third option. So make sure to stay with us until the end of the video. The first verse is verse 5 from the 9th chapter of the Quran. Let's start our discussion with Dr. Brian.
This sounds like open season on all non-Muslims. Critics say it's a command for endless religious violence. It's why people call it the sword verse, claiming it cancels peaceful verses.
Well, Dr. Mustafa, what's your opinion?
Defenders explain it was revealed after pagan tribes broke treaties and attacked Muslims. The verse only targeted those aggressors. Same chapter says if they repent or seek peace, fighting must stop. So it's not a free license to kill everyone. Revealed in Medina, year 9 AH, after Quraysh broke peace treaties. Muslims were preparing for battle, Tabuk. Without context, it looks universal. With context, it was war rules.
Alright, dear viewers, keep following along with us all the way through these 10 verses and share your thoughts about each verse. At the end of the video, let us know in the comments which verse you think the critic is right about and which verse the interpreter is right about. Let's check out the next verse together.
If wives are disobedient, warn them, avoid them in bed, and hit them. This verse gives husbands permission to beat wives. It normalizes domestic violence.
Dr. Mustafa, what is your response to Dr. Brian?
Defenders argue hit means light and symbolic, like a tap, not abuse. And it's the last step after advice and separation. Prophet Muhammad himself never hit his wives. Revealed in Medina. At that time, wife beating was common with no rules. This verse set limits. Advice, separation, symbolic tap, not harm.
From a critical perspective, the word wadribuhunna in Quran 434 literally means and beat them. The later interpretations, such as those by Al-Tabarir and others, that add phrases like lightly or symbolically, are not part of the original text. The Quran itself says in several verses that it was revealed in clear and simple Arabic so that all people may understand it. Therefore, adding external explanations or softening the plain meaning of words contradicts the Quran's own claim of clarity.
Alright, the third verse is verse 191 from the 2nd chapter of the Quran. Dr. Brian, what is your criticism of this verse?
Kill them wherever you find them, and drive them out from where they drove you out. Sounds like Muslims are told to attack unbelievers anywhere. Very violent on the surface.
Actually refers to Quraysh pagans who expelled Muslims from Mecca. It's about self-defense, not random killing. Revealed after Muslims were exiled from Mecca, 622 CE. About the Battle of Badr. Without that story, looks like endless violence.
It's funny how you always have a defense for every flaw in your Quran, and you spend years studying just to justify them and twist the arguments. People can see for themselves that all of this has been arranged over time to make it look beautiful, but it wasn't like that in the beginning.
Before we move on to examine the 4th verse, I'd like to ask those watching this video to first subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on our future research about all religions. The 4th verse is verse 29 from the 9th chapter of the Quran.
Fight those from the people of the book until they pay jizya. This makes Jews, Christians, second-class citizens, forced to pay tax or face war.
Jizya was a defense tax in place of military service. In return, Muslims had to protect non-Muslims. It was common in ancient empires, revealed during conflict with Byzantine allied tribes. In history, jizya organized diverse groups. Today, critics call it discriminatory.
In my opinion, it's still not acceptable, because God says in the Quran that this religion is for all people in all times. But if we keep going like this, most of the verses end up being explained as something meant only for the past. So what's left for me? 1,400 years later? Just 4 verses that can't be criticized?
No, we have plenty of verses that can teach us lessons about economics, governance, and even politics.
I think it's better to move away from the political discussion and get back to the rest of the verses. In my opinion, the people who follow you haven't really done any research. I also think that viewers who have watched the video up to this point are laughing at the interpretations you're giving for a book you claim is from God. No educated person would accept your religion. You can even check the audience's reactions for yourself.
Okay, the next verse that was sent to me is the 4th verse from the 47th chapter of the Quran, but I'm not sure if the Quran actually has 47 chapters or not. Let's make sure to research this later.
When you meet disbelievers in battle, strike their necks. This verse looks like an order to behead non-Muslims.
It's about the battlefield, not civilians. Same verse later says to release or ransom prisoners, showing limits. Revealed about wars like Uhud. It set war rules, not daily life commands. Without context seems barbaric.
I'm not going to say anything about the remaining verses. I'll let the viewers read the meanings of the verses themselves and listen to your interpretations, and then they can form their own opinions. It's pretty clear that this can't be a book meant for our society today, from God's side.
The Quran contains teachings and principles that transcend time and place, justice, morality, helping the underprivileged, respect for others, and thoughtful reflection. By understanding them correctly and applying them appropriately, we can use the Quran to address the challenges of today's society.
Alright, the 6th verse is verse 12 from the 8th chapter of the Quran. Dr. Brian, what criticism are you planning to make about this verse?
This seems like a call for extreme violence, maybe even beheadings and mutilation. Taken alone, it sounds savage and cruel.
Alright, Dr. Mustafa, what response do you have regarding Dr. Brian's point?
Scholars explain this was revealed during the Battle of Badr, where Muslims were vastly outnumbered. The verse describes angelic assistance, not ordinary human combat. It uses dramatic language to show divine support, not to endorse brutal behavior against civilians. Early Muslims faced existential threat. The verse motivates courage in a historic battle. Out of context, it looks violent, but in context, it's battlefield encouragement.
Dear viewers, I'd like to ask you to like this video first so we can look at the next verse together. The next verse is verse 89 from the 4th chapter of the Quran. Dr. Brian, please go ahead.
Critics argue this verse sanctions killing apostates, which sounds extreme and intolerant. Elsewhere in the Quran, it says that there is no compulsion in religion. I guess God forgot that line and added this verse instead. It's unclear what situation your prophet was in that made him feel he had to create this verse himself.
Dr. Mustafa, what's your opinion?
Scholars clarify it targets traitors joining enemy armies, not someone quietly leaving Islam. It's about treason during wartime, not personal belief. Apostasy alone isn't condemned here. The verse warns against armed betrayal, revealed in Medina during conflicts with hostile tribes. Betrayal could mean life-threatening danger for the Muslim community.
The 8th verse we want to discuss is verse 50 from the 33rd chapter of the Quran. Please go ahead.
Perfect. In this verse, we can clearly see how the God who has a book for all of humanity even revealed such a long verse just about the prophet's marriage. prophet, you may marry women who offer themselves to you? Critics argue Muhammad had special sexual privileges, which looks morally problematic.
Historians and scholars explain these marriages were political or social alliances, often to protect widows or unify tribes. It wasn't about sexual desire, but social stability and mercy.
Well, I think these few remaining verses are really interesting and can make the discussion more challenging. Verse 24 from the 4th chapter of the Quran.
Married women are forbidden, except those your right hands possess. Critics see this as condoning sex with captives or slaves, which is extremely problematic today.
This refers to war captives, and Islam imposed strict conditions: waiting period, iddah, consent where possible, and marriage rules. It limited exploitation compared to pre-Islamic times. Pre-Islamic Arabia had unrestricted sexual slavery. Islam regulated it, though today it's incompatible with human rights.
What just came to my mind about this topic is, if this book isn't supposed to be limited to a certain time, why did it allow slavery?
They say it allowed slavery because it was common at the time and couldn't be abolished all at once. But the Quran also allowed freeing slaves, which ended up helping some Islamic countries move away from slavery earlier.
It doesn't make sense to me. We should also see what the audience thinks about this in the comments.
In my opinion, you shouldn't even listen to the next verse, because it's about cutting off the hands of thieves. I think it's violent, and I'm afraid YouTube might flag my video because the content is violent. It's not like you're about to play violent music or anything. No, that's not the case. This is something that's mentioned in the Quran, verse 38 from the 5th chapter of the Quran.
Cut off the hand of thieves. Critics say this is barbaric, cruel, and disproportionate punishment. I'm not going to criticize this verse too much because you might twist it and accuse me of being biased. I'll let the audience analyze it for themselves.
Scholars explain it applied rarely and under strict conditions: serious theft, clear evidence, and no poverty excuse. It's a deterrent in a tribal context. Arabia, tribal society, no police or prisons. Harsh punishments aimed to maintain order. Modern readers understandably see it as cruel.
Well, I'd like to thank Dr. Brian and Dr. Mostafavi. Dear viewers, I should let you know that these two guests were actually AI characters, but I presented the thoughts of an atheist and the thoughts of an Islamic commentator for you, based on our research, in the most beautiful way possible so that you could watch the video and gain some solid scientific and research-based insights. If you've enjoyed the video up to this point, make sure to like it. In the next video, which will be released for you on Thursday, we're going to present 10 verses from the 4 canonical Gospels that the Church has removed, along with Dr. Brian and a guest from the Christian Church, and we'll also hear their criticisms and responses. Stay with our channel, maybe your perspective on all religions will change. Our channel puts a lot of effort into the field of religion and religious research without any bias, so make sure to subscribe. If you've watched the video up to this point but still haven't liked it, I'm honestly disappointed in you. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section, and also let us know which verse you thought was a stronger argument for the critic and which one was a stronger argument for the commentator. Don't deprive us of your opinions. Maybe other viewers will pick up a point or a positive takeaway from your comments that could change the course of their lives. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, because in upcoming videos, we're going to critique Christian books.
Subscribe to our channel for more debates so you can see the facts about religions without bias.
See you next video. Goodbye.
Until the next video, goodbye.